So there's no doubt that Star Wars Battlefront is going to be one of the most highly anticipated games coming out this year. And if you just add the name Star Wars to anything, I mean, it's going to sell. So this is going to sell a crap ton of copies, I can assure you that. But no matter how big it is, it's not going to be as big as what it could be probably, because the game is going to launch without a single-player campaign. So that's just going to turn off a lot of people. Now, there is single-player in the game, and there's co-op you can go through, you can play by yourself, but there is no true campaign story to progress through and experience like you would expect in any other AAA experience that you're getting. And part of me, when I first heard this announcement, I thought maybe, there's some sort of legal reason behind it. I'm sure it's not easy to write up a Star Wars script and get it passed, because I'm sure people keep a pretty tight lid on it and make sure that it's coherent with everything else that's happening in the world. But, I mean, there's other Star Wars games out there, so that doesn't really make a complete sense either. But we got our answer, so we don't have to wonder anymore. EA's COO, Peter Moore, he was doing an interview with GameSpot, and he was asked why there isn't a single player in Battlefront, and here's what he said. He said, quote, "Very few people actually play the single player on these types of games. That's what the data points to," end quote. So first off, I mean, I've read plenty of articles in the past about games that sort of back up what he's saying. I mean, a lot of people never finish a campaign. Some people skip campaigns altogether. I mean, I know people who play Call of Duty who's never even touched the Call of Duty campaign. They don't know anything about it. But the idea that people wouldn't be interested in a Star Wars campaign, come on. This is like one of the biggest freaking games coming out, and will be for years probably. I mean, this is definitely on the top list. And Star Wars as a whole is all about storytelling. So, I mean, maybe the data points to people not playing a bad single-player campaign, but to say that they wouldn't be interested in playing a campaign for Star Wars Battlefront is probably the biggest BS that I've heard in a long time. I mean, I'm more of a multiplayer person myself, but I still like to run through the campaign on most games just to get a feel for it, to get comfortable with it, and all the controls, but also just to relax a little bit. And if anything's down, you can't get online or whatever, it's nice to have something to jump on. And I just hope that this game doesn't turn into a Titanfall type game. And I hope this also isn't something that we're looking at for a future where big AAA games are only coming out with now half the game. And with Titanfall, I told you I love Titanfall. I still think it's one of the best shooters that's been released this gen. It's a solid shooter, but it was not a $60 game. And I've repeated that many times. If you're going to deliver a multiplayer-only game with no campaign, it better have a ton of online content at launch. And Titanfall didn't. And Titanfall was another game where it actually would have made sense and would have been probably a great campaign, because I would have liked to know, why you had these armies with huge mechs fighting each other in the future. So I know that a lot of people are going to be disappointed knowing that there is no single player in this game. And I mean, AAA games with single player tend to sell better. And with a company as big as EA, with a budget that's as gargantuan as EA, with teams of devs who know how to tell a good story, there is absolutely no reason for this game not to have a campaign in it. And blaming it on the players is just a piss-poor excuse that doesn't hold any weight whatsoever. And if he really means it, then I guess we should expect that all future Battlefield games, all future Medal of Honor, or whatever other shooters EA has coming out, I guess they shouldn't have a campaign, right? Because, according to the data, people just don't play it. Post your thoughts below. Did your excitement for this game decrease after you heard that there was no real campaign in Star Wars Battlefront? That does it for me, The Red Dragon. I'll see you next time. Thanks for watching.